Duplicity. -26. Shortly after that, a car stopped where they had been pushed off. Some men stepped out of the car and walked over to Paulice's car. They looked at the trio lying in the car. They were all bloody. They immediately called the police and ambulance. Several minutes later, the police arrived and they smashed the windows and managed to get everyone out of the car. The paramedics carried everyone on stretchers and put them in an ambulance before heading to the hospital. After the ambulance left, one of the men frantically dialed Panjani's number. After a few rings, Panjani finally picked up his phone. "Did you find them?" he asks. "Yes, we did, but I am afraid I have some bad news for you." "What has happened?" he worriedly asks. "Madame Paulisa and the twins have been involved in an accident." "Are they injured?" he asks. His voice was low, barely audible. "They look injured. They have been rushed to the hospital," he replied. "Which hospital?" "UTH. Meet me at the hospital. I will be driving over there immediately." "Yes, boss," he said before ending the call. Panjani's heart pounded with anger. His blood boiled with rage. He felt like killing someone. He lit a cigarette and pulled on it very hard. He took the smoke down into his lungs to try and calm himself. His hands were shaking and sweating. He took another long drag, inhaled and blew out. A couple of minutes later, he threw the cigarette on the floor and stepped on it. Then he wore his hooded sweatshirt and cap before walking out of the bedroom and into the living room. "Drive me to UTH, he told Chabala. Chabala quickly stood up, grabbed the car keys and led Panjani to the car. They got into the car and Chabala quickly drove out. As they drove to the hospital, Panjani was thinking about what he was going to do to Rosaria and her partners if anything happened to Paulisa and the twins. He knew that if he committed another crime, he would be jailed for life without parole. But that was the least of his worries at the moment. Panjani would do anything to protect his family, even if it required trading his life for theirs. He arrived at the hospital and asked for Paulisa and the twins. He was directed to the doctor's office. The doctor gave him an update on the twins and Paulisa before directing him to their rooms. Fortunately, none of them was dead. Jada received a number of bruises on her body and face. Paulisa sustained a broken arm and Jaden was badly hurt. Panjani walked into Paulisa's room first. She was lying in the hospital bed. Her eyes were closed. Her right arm was encased in a cast and her left arm was attached to an IV. He sat on the small chair and touched her hair softly. She opened her eyes and looked up at him. "Hey," he said. "Hey." She managed a weak smile as she tried to move her arm across her body, but the pain stopped her. She took in a deep breath and let it out slowly. "I am sorry. This is not your fault," she said. "I should have acted faster. Have you checked on the twins? The doctor told me they are doing fine, but she didn't allow me to see them because apparently we all need to rest. I haven't been able to rest. I am worried." "I haven't seen them yet. I came to your room first, but I have spoken to the doctor." "What has he told you?" "You and Jade are likely to be discharged this evening, but Jaden will remain here." "What's wrong with my baby boy?" "He has been hurt badly, but the doctor said he will be fine." "I want to see him." "I don't know if the doctor will allow you see him." "Please, talk to the doctor for me. I need to see the twins. I am running out of my mind," she said. Paulisa had tears running down her face. She was really worried about the twins. Even if they were not biologically hers, she had raised them as her own and she loved them a lot. "I will talk to the doctor," he gave her his word and walked out of the room. After pleading with the doctor for over 5 minutes, the doctor finally agreed. The nurses helped Paulisa out of the hospital bed and Panjani wheeled her down the hallway to Jaden's room. "My poor baby," Paulisa, crying. Jaden was lying in a hospital bed hooked up to several tubes attached to machines. He looked terrible. His face was severely bruised. "It will be fine," Panjani said softly as he tried to comfort her. She said a short prayer for him before she was wheeled out of the room to Jada's. Jada was sitting up in bed and leaning against the wall when they walked in. The television in her hospital room was on and there was a romantic comedy playing. Jada's body was aching and she had a headache. The doctor had promised to bring her some painkillers. "See what the cat dragged in," she exclaimed. "Hey baby, how are you feeling?" Palisa hacks. "You know you almost got us killed," she responded. "I tried the best I could too." "How is Jaden?" "He is fine. Can I finally get to see him?" "I will talk to the doctor." "Okay." Penjani looked at Jada. He didn't know what to say and for a long moment he silently stared at her. "Are you just going to stand there and look at me?" Jada asks. "How are you?" he asks. She laughed. "What do you think? You all grown up now. You don't expect me to still be 3 years old." "You sure are your mother's daughter," Penjani said. "Your girlfriend over there or Salma?" "Salma. You know what? I always wondered how I would have turned out if you were still alive and guided my life. Well, I know Palisa did a good job, but there was a hole in me that yearned for a father figure. They were nights when I needed you, Penjani, but know that you were with the Lord comforted me." She paused, trying to blink away the tears that threatened to fall. When that didn't work, she wiped them away. "I am sorry," he whispered. "Everything is so messed up. I wish you had died," she said. "Jada," Palisa exclaimed. "I think you should both leave this room now." "Okay," Palisa said. "I have a lot to tell you, but this is not the place and time for that. Get better soon, child, and then we can talk," Penjani said. Jada rolled her eyes and clicked her tongue. "Child, my foot." "We will see you later," he said before he wheeled Palisa back to her room. Ella B.